Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. channel. This is clearly not Chanel. It's Mugler, darling. Oh my God. So speaking of Thierry Mugler, we are going to the Fashion Institute of Technology today to visit some of their fashion archives. I'm just excited to see the pieces and hear from experts at MFIT about these clothes. Should we talk about the pieces that you pulled?
Sure.
Actually, yeah, let's start with the jumpsuit. Let's go in order. Let's start with the jumpsuit. Oh my God. What's fascinating to me is, particularly in the 79 collection, how much he was emphasizing the shoulders.
Yes.
Which is such an 80s thing, which is such a thing that we think about the big broad shoulders in the 80s, but in the 70s, he was going...
Mugler and Montana, too, were doing shoulders and black leather and that really kind of amazing, phallic, powerful woman.
What's interesting for me about just some Mugler elements that I see is this asymmetrical, the snaps this shoulder moment is just utterly exciting for me. And it feels like this is this moto moment that I don't know if anyone else is doing it, but now you see it.
Yes.
The innovation. I think when
moto,
you...
and before that, even armor.
Yeah, he was such an innovative designer. Obsessed. Talk to me about leather at this, because he was criticized a lot in the 80s for using leather and PVC, and they thought it was sort of gay and gauche. The customers loved it. Where was leather in fashion in general in 1979?
Well, it's really associated with leather sex, with gay leather sex, and with S&M. It is in fashion, but only in limited ways. Things like black leather jackets had long been in fashion ever since Saint Laurent picked up on that. But Mugler and Montana also were really criticized for doing this kind of S&M look for women on the runway.
I don't think of this as S&M now, but I guess in the
Back
70s,
then, that's when they were
it felt very S&M. And
Exactly.
he used PVC and he used, like latex. There's all these things that I'm a student. I'm still learning. We can maybe go to the LeMay piece now. Seeing this on a mannequin or seeing this on a model is just so everything. You would think that you maybe a 1930s film or something. And so there's a lot of, I feel like, lots of 40s inspiration. Obviously, the wasp waist is New Look, Dior's New Look. So he definitely looks back, but he was always looking forward at the same time. So there's something simultaneously retro and futuristic about this.
Yes.
The pleating, the ruching, oh my goodness.
Well, the silver's very futuristic as that was interpreted back then.
Yes.
I mean, everybody was thinking the future was going to be silver. It's kind of, I guess, because of Andy Warhol and the idea of kind of sort of space-age machinery, computer, technocratic things. But as you say, the rest of it is cut in a way which is very feminine and draped, and even reminds me a little bit of ancient Egypt in the way that it's pulled on the body.
It's interesting, when I look at Mr. Mugler's sort of futuristic take, it evokes late 1960s space age, Pierre Cardin and Paco Rabanne,
right.
Particularly in Mr. Mugler's inspiration of the future, and his future was sort of looking back at the late 1960s. Which isn't that,
almost all visions of the future look back at one decade or another.
They're stitching here, and so this comes out. This is an element that we see, we see it here,
That's right.
That we really see, and we see it a lot in the blazers as well.
Yes.
This element that kind of just gives you even more sort of lateral volume.
That's right.
70s Mugler is super exciting because no one else is really doing any of this.
Yes.
And you see early elements that will become signatures of his later on.
Yes.
Let's talk about the blazer. I have this blazer in red. What excited me about this when I saw it in your catalog is that I had no idea what collection it was from.
The diagonals are interesting too. And the curves. It's cut very carefully, but in a way that really makes it sort of curve over the body. It's a very, very body conscious jacket.
The way he would infuse black. Sometimes this would be velvet, in some other collections. But it is the way that it shapes the body that just got me so excited when I 30 years ago when I discovered Mugler and then discovered the blazers, how the cinched waist that was very straight up and down in the 90s. It had no curves, and Mugler could give you curves. So you would hug your curves, but also could give you curves.
Give you curves as well, which Dior, of course, could do that as well, but his were under foundations. And this one is really just the tailoring that does it.
Yeah. Can we look at the back of this? Just this little moment here. It's just, and there's just something that makes it really special and unique with the black trim.
It really reminds you of how defining each of those extremities is so erotic in itself. So like, okay, we're dividing the head from the body. Okay, we're dividing the hand from the wrist. We're stockings. Here we're dividing the thigh right here. Each of those markers, as though, I hate to say it, but it's almost like a butcher's diagram. You're showing different parts of the body, like you would show different parts of the...
A butcher's diagram. I hadn't thought about it.
And that's kind of a gruesome way.
In a sexual way. I hadn't thought about it in a sexual way. I hadn't thought about it in terms of a butcher. But there were particularly a new piece I think you just got, in his 1998 collection, where he had the exposed stockings with the garter.
Yes.
And
garter
all
really
1998. But then the pocket in those famous Helmut Newton photos. So there's a pocket that has a similar garter. Then there's a garter in the stocking
so
and the It really is. It really is. Let's go to Les Atlantis. I'm obsessed with this. This collection is so iconic.
This is such a beautiful collection.
It's so iconic, and we have a number of pieces from this collection now. Talk to me about Les Atlantis and this spin dress and what you know about it. Again, we have Lamé.
We have Lamé, which is that sort of the sexy shine. The shine is really important in fetishes because it draws the eye. And then you've got the lining and this sort of pink, then talking about pink parts of the body like lips and nipples and genitals. It's a very sexual color.
I have never thought about this collection in a sexual way before. I love that you go there.
And then it's the way the body is shaped. It becomes almost like a kind of an insect or an ocean creature or something.
It's like Atlantis. It would be an ocean creature, yes.
And you used it as a mermaid in your show.
I did in a show I did called Fairy Tale Fashion. She represented a mermaid. And then the next dress we'll look at was also on Fairy Tale Fashion.
Oh my God, this. Oh. It's art. It's really and truly art. It's where art meets fashion. I mean, how can you look at this and not just understand this is art? This is high art. And I think the last piece. What's interesting to me about this is that it harkens back a little bit to the bustier from Les Atlantis. And I just have to do this.
Whoa!
What a reveal!
I mean, Mugler loved a reveal. So mine isn't lined in red. When I found this bustier after I lost that dress at auction. I was like, this feels like a consolation, and it wasn't. It was really inexpensive. The jewelry is Mugler as well. So, what do we know about this piece from 97, fall 97? I really want to know because obviously.
I used this in Fairy Tale Fashion to represent the witch in the Wizard of Oz because she was a fire witch, but I wanted her to be chic. So that's why in the film and of course in the book, she's killed with water because she's a fire witch. So I was like, how can I represent this subtly and beautifully? And this to me looked like flames, and then you just get that little hint of red.
This is very exciting. I loved it so much. When I saw this in your catalog, I was just like,
You should
I just bought this. I was like, I literally just bought this. Okay. Oh my.
Nice.
This is the first fitting since she's altered it. So sometimes the first fitting things aren't quite right. Things aren't quite right. Actually, it should be unzipped a little bit. And then the collar up to feel like Iman.
That medicine color is so great.
Oh my God.
Super.
The
Purple's pretty good match.
The match is insane. More than. My Taylor Morgan foot. My Taylor Morgan foot. She's changed my life. I would not be able to wear this without Morgan. I want to wear this out of there. Just a fitting at MFIT of my Mugler with my Taylor.
Yes. Oh, guys, I found one.
Alrighty. Oh,
Heaven.
Jesus fucking Christ. Interesting, the stitching here that we first saw in 1979, and this is spring, summer 1988. So again, that detail that just kind of like gives you a little something.
Look at the have.
This makes me think I could stop collecting Mugler, except I want that lace Atlantis dress. We shortened this skirt considerably to match how it looks on the runway. And let's see, it was just, it's like a dream. And I actually have a number of suits from this collection. I think we finally got it.
Right, except yeah.
Wow, I love this. And we're getting a hat, the hat, it was shown with the hat. I'm getting a different hat from the collection made. We're getting it made by this wonderful hat maker named Sarah. This is the right proportion though. This is fabulous. It's professional but sexy. What would you say, Valerie, about this?
It looks like a reverse schoolgirl outfit. It looks fabulous.
You are a freak, Valerie. Okay, wonderful. Is that all you have for me?
Yeah, I have more for you at my house.
This is
I
more
just brought
than
a
enough.
couple things today.
More than enough. Oh my gosh. Thank you. One of the great joys for me being a collector is doing research. I feel like so new to being a Mugler collector, and there's just so many things that I have to learn and uncover, and this is part of that journey.